we just grabbed some nachos, and I figure heading home might be fun to do just a quick 5 things I hate about my 2013 Scion FRS. Now, I'm not necessarily going to say that these are things that I hate about my car, because these are not things that I feel like if there's something that's I hate this about my car, it's something that would keep you from enjoying the car, or keep you from loving your car or whatever. It's going to be something that's you consider a big problem. And I don't really have any big problems with this car. I really like this car. So we'll call this 5 things that I would like to improve about my 2013 Scion FRS. Number 1 is going to be kind of the big one that everybody says is the power from the factory. Now, don't get me wrong, I've talked about plenty of times the fact that this car is really fun to drive, and is very, whilst the horsepower and torque numbers aren't substantially huge or anything, it does, the fact that the car weighs absolutely nothing makes up for that. And it's still it's peppy, and it's fun to drive. But I would like to, over time, do a few things, add some torque and some horsepower, add a little more of that whipping Mustang GTs at a stoplight ability to it. Anyway, so number 2, the big one is going to be the touchscreen radio. Now, I like a touchscreen radio, and it's not that I dislike having one in this, it's just the one that they use. The one that they use in the BRZ. Now, this is a 13, and most of the 13s did not get the touchscreen radio from the Scion. But the original owner, she did have the option for the fancier radio. But they use this, like, bespoke or whatever, powered by Zipper, I guess? Zipper? Anyway, I mean, it's still a touchscreen radio. It still works incredibly well. I just feel like it's not as nice as the one in the BRZ, or as nice as some of, like, the third party, like a Kenwood or a JVC or something, that I could get and put in here, and will inevitably do. It works fine for now, and it's neat, especially when I have friends get in my car and be like, oh yeah, my radio's touchscreen. Like, it's fucking dope. It is. But I just would like, I don't know, I'd like one with a little more flair to it. And this one's kind of a bare bones touchscreen, whatever. It's not bad, it's just not quite what I would like it to be. Number 3 is definitely going to be the factory wheels and tires. Now, I like the way that the factory wheels look, but they are incredibly thin. They're, I think factory, the tires are 7.5 inches wide. So they're very, very, they're not wide tires at all, which makes it fun to sling around and break the rear end loose. But like for driving in the rain, it's very difficult to give my car much throttle without spinning the tires, or then the traction control kicking in and cutting the power, which is, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it'd be nice if I could get maybe just a touch more traction out of, you know, from the get-go, without the traction control having to do all the work. So again, not an undoable thing. None of these things are going to be things that I hate about my car, but just some things that I feel like could use a little bit of improvement. Anyway, so number 4 is going to probably be the lack of a factory wing. And now, I'm not one of these guys that generally likes big wings and stuff on the back of cars and stuff. But if you've seen like the BRZ Limited, that small little wing on the back just looks really, really good. For something about it, it just adds a little bit of touch to it. And I don't hate the way my car looks without a wing or anything, obviously. And I could get one and add it, and I could get, you know, an OEM style fucking wing for this car and put it on, no problem. I don't know, for having all the other premium options that my car had when I bought it, that I did buy used. The original owner had on and everything, had all the premium options. It would have been nice to see something like that. Whereas it was one of the more premium options on the BRZ. I feel like getting the FRS with the premium options, it would have been nice to have that as well. Number 5 thing about this car that I hate is something that I like too, but at the same time, it can be a bit of an annoyance at times. Once again, it's something that's super easily fixable, but these cars, for those of you that don't know, they have what's called a sound generator tube attached to your factory air intake. And what that does is that pipes the intake sound, quote unquote, into the cabin of the car so that you can hear it. And while I like that because it does sound cool and everything, cabin, there is a constant flow of air even when your fan that, you know, pumps your, hey, what up, BRZ? It's constantly pumping air into the cabin, so even when say I've got the fan off for the heater or the air conditioner, it's still pushing air into the cabin. So if I've got, you know, say the vents open, or excuse me, if I've got, like, say the vents open, or say the defrost vents or whatever in the front are open, it constantly pushes air up through that, even without the fan blowing, which is not bad. And they do make kits, and they're not expensive at all. I think they're like 20 or 30 bucks. Sound generator tube pipe delete kit things that you can get. They're not expensive, they're not bad. It's not anything that's a major catastrophe to try to get a hold of or anything, but it definitely it's just one of those little things that until it does it, it's kind of there and like, ugh. Like last night as I was driving back into town, it was raining really bad and the temperature had dropped significantly outside, so that was keeping my window kept fogging, and I haven't put any type of like anti-fogging or rubbed any anti-fogging shit or anything on it, so it continually, like, and the air coming in and blowing up on it wasn't helping, so I'd actually have to turn the heater on and off and be consistently doing that. And so then in order to, you know, keeping the heater, turning it on and off, or the defroster, I guess, turning that back on and off, I had to keep the heat on hot. And whatever air is blowing through, like if you've got your temperature control set to heat, it will make the air that's being forced through hot. If you've got your temperature control set to like cold or air conditioner, it's not necessarily going to cool that air, but it's just going to be kind of neutral air. But for some reason, if like the air's on hot, the air that it pipes through is still warm. So it wasn't warm enough or heavy enough to actually defog the windshield, but it was just warm enough and the cabin of the car is small enough that it was really warm and uncomfortable for a little bit, because I would turn the defroster on, so hot air is blowing out, to defog my windshield, would defog it, turn it off, and there's still little bits of warm air piping into the car. But that's it, guys. That's 5 things I hate about, but don't actually hate about my FRS. 5 things that I feel could be improved upon. Now, and overall, fucking love this car. If you're one of the people that's been interested in one, go take a test drive. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a very fun car to have, and I, knock on wood, fingers crossed, hope to have mine for quite a while. Thanks, guys.